All right, welcome back. Now you see the thumbnail, so you probably got a good idea of what I'm about to talk about. How many people consider the fact that the voyage took months? It took months for these ships that departed to come back. And no matter what, man, they had to send multiple ships per week. You know what that means? That means they had to send multiple ships without the ships that have departed returning. So what does that mean? An outpouring of resources, an enormous amount of resources. Now, it's 3 to 4 ships at least per week that has to depart in order for that number of trips to be made within a 200-year time span. So, you see right here that it took in 1492 Columbus 2 months to make it across the ocean. So it would have taken him 4 months to make it across and back. Look at this. Sailing ships in the age of exploration took months. It took months for those ships to come back. So the resources we talking about, people, would have to be mind-blowing. They couldn't finance something like that today. Now let's look at how many ships would have to depart before one ship even came back. 3 per week? How many? Lord, we got to at least say, let's say 4 months. 4 months is 16 weeks. Times 16 weeks. They would have to depart 48 ships before one came back. And then they would have to keep departing those ships as the ones that have left started to come back. In order for that many trips to be made in that short period of time, they had to do that. If this is true, if what they're saying is true, who believes that? The money it would take, the finances, period, everything, to just be sending ships. Okay, see you in 4 months. See you too in 4 months. See you in 4 months. Are you crazy? Who in the world believes that? In those days, in the U.S. government, these Europeans did not have that much resources. They just didn't. They definitely didn't have resources like that. Has anybody thought about that? And they had to depart like this. There's no way, or maybe they sent one ship and waited for it to come back and then financed to send 2 ships. That makes no sense. That makes no sense at all. Now let's take a look at some of the comments. Because for whatever reason, people don't talk about this. People never question the details in these stories that we're given. I don't know why, man. 39,000 trips, 40,000 trips within about 200 years. That means when you started this expedition, you would have had to send ships, multiple ships, week after week after week. 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. And each month, you're sending at least 3 ships per week. None of them have came back yet. You understand me? None of them have came back yet. And these ships supposedly departed with enough resources to make it there and back. Now understand, before these ships left they would have had to acquire food for the slaves. Or are we supposed to believe that they acquired the food for the slaves once they reached Africa? Huh? Get out of here. Somebody said most black people will not question this because a lot of us are deeply rooted into the narrative of it exactly. And you need to snap out because it's dumb. No matter how you slice and dice it, you need to snap out of it. It's cartoonish. That if anything, I'm attached to history-wise as black people, it's the households were destroyed up to the 90s. Most black women want to focus on slavery for the trauma instead of how historically they destroyed family. They didn't have cargo ships until the 1800s, so that's a lie. Man, what are we talking about here, people? What are we talking about? This is crazy. I'm about to look this up right now. I'm about to search that phrase right now. Uh-oh. Yeah, they became prominent in the 1800s. So the ships prior to 1800s would have taken the longest amount of time possible to make a round trip. And then think about it. Once those ships came back, supposedly they would then put the slaves to work. How long would it take them to reap benefit off the slave labor? Think about that. Okay, we got a bunch of slaves here. Now, hey, go pick some cotton, go pick some tomatoes, go build a couple houses, huh? Get out of here. Again, I know this is going to hurt a lot of people. This is going to upset a lot of people. I don't care. It's not me, the one that's offending you. It's the story that they gave you. They gave you this lie, not me. I wouldn't have lied to you. Wow. He said if they did attempt this trip, you got the ocean gears between Africa and the United States to navigate through on boats. It didn't happen. And in 1492, Columbus nicknamed black people Indians. We were already here. Exactly. Europe was trading with black people in 1492 because Europe was on the brink of this. Exactly. They could not afford such a massive project like that. They simply couldn't. And even if you could afford it, people, would it make financial sense? Would that make sense to invest in something like that? No, it would not. Let's go get some slaves from Africa, as if this land over here was empty and there's just nobody over here. And you know, that's what they want us to believe. They want us to believe that when whites got here, it was just empty land, and the whites saw, we need slave labor. Let's go back to Africa. Let's send 3 ships a week. It's going to take them at least 4 months to come back. So we're going to depart. We're going to send 4 months worth of ships, about 36 to 40 ships, before just one of them come back. Get out of here. Get out of here. Get out of here. Everybody who co-signs with this nonsense, come into the comment section of this stream and make it make sense. I don't want to hear no babbling. I don't want to hear no emotional lecture. Are you talking about, oh, it's our ancestors? How could you say this? Make it make sense. I don't care. See, the slave trade, that voyage, it's emotional. Because the idea is that the Africans who were on the ships went through hell. And that is what attached people emotionally to the story. Because they're like, oh no, that would have been horrible. I can't imagine what our ancestors went through sailing on the ships for months, defecating on themselves, urinating on themselves. And it's that the trauma in the story that keeps people believing the story. And it's so bad that they're so traumatized by the story, they refuse to question it like this. They wouldn't dare question it the way I'm questioning it right now. I don't care. You want me to believe something like that, because in order for us to believe that, we also have to co-sign with the idea that this is not our homeland. And I'm sorry, we knew this land far too well for this to not be our homeland. Don't give me that. And what really happened when these Europeans came over here, blacks started to migrate to the swamps. They knew instantly, whoever these foreigners are, they're not going to survive in this area. And blacks from all over started to migrate to the swamps. There were thousands of people. There were whole communities. There was like sewer systems. They had a whole civilization in those swamps, people. And you had to know that land extremely well just to survive in the land. That is what makes sense. That the black people who are already here, they all knew that the environment was too harsh for these people with guns, these weird weapons, to come in there. And even if they do come in there, we'll be able to pick them off with axes, with knives and whatnot. We don't need guns because the environment is so harsh. Once they come in here, they are ours. It's a similar case in the Sentinelese Islands. They go over there with their little pop guns, they're going to get picked off because those people know that land too well. You have to be native to know a land well enough to have people with guns scared to come up in there. Ain't no slaves showed up on no slave ship, jumped off the boat and ran for hundreds of miles to a swampland that they didn't even know was there. You let me know what you think.